Black Widow was the first, and for a long time, the only prominent female character in the Avengers franchise. Although Natasha Romanoff very soon proved herself worthy to be part of the MCU, it took a decade for the character to get her own standalone movie. However, it turns out it's never easy playing a superhero. So let's learn about all the challenges Scarlett Johansson had to face, from grueling training to inappropriate interview questions, to the inability to talk about her work with her own husband. Always the second choice. Incredibly, the twice Oscar-nominated actress recently revealed that she's been rejected constantly for film roles. "The best call you can receive is after you're rejected for something and then you get it," she shared. "I've basically made a career out of being second choice." Johansson wasn't even the first choice to play Black Widow. It turns out that Emily Blunt was originally chosen to star in Iron Man 2, but Scarlett was so drawn to the MCU that she insisted on meeting with director Jon Favreau anyway.
I want to be a part of that. I so wanted to work with Favreau. I so wanted to work with Downey, and I went in to meet with Kevin Feige at Marvel.
Scarlett told the Marvel executives that she would play virtually any role, and quite soon an opportunity popped up when Blunt had to bow out due to scheduling reasons. Little did she know at the time that portraying Natasha would make her the world's highest paid actress, but it came at a price. Becoming a hero. Her Black Widow role turned out to be life-changing in many respects. First of all, Scarlett had to get ripped to be able to mirror the attributes possessed by her superhero character. Incredibly, before joining the MCU, Johansson had never stepped foot in a gym. Also, she had a very short time to train before the start of shooting for Iron Man 2. But she was lucky enough to meet personal trainer Eric Johnson and action actress Heidi Moneymaker, who became her stunt double.
Being as I'd never stepped foot in a gym, and I had no experience at all with any sort of martial arts or anything like that.
Scarlett admits that Heidi became her beacon of hope. Together they created a specific fight technique for the Black Widow, who actually isn't a superhero but a spy who needs to outwit her opponents as much as pulverize them. So let's take a look at Johansson's gym and diet routine. To become the badass Avenger, the actress had to hit up the gym up to 5 days a week for 45 to hour-long sessions.
She weighed 170 pounds when I hired her. Look, she got into shape. She's been training 3 hours a day, at least, just on the stunts.
Oh yeah, no, don't forget the 2 hours I spend lifting my own body weight.
Scarlett and her trainer treated the process like an athlete preparing for a competition, placing more emphasis on her performance, and her physique just followed. The varied schedule focused on integrated foundational strength training that combined movements from plyometrics to yoga, Olympic weightlifting, kettlebells, and gymnastics. Johansson's favorite moves included deadlifts, pull-ups, military presses, pistol squats, and kettlebell swings. Wow, it even sounds grueling. And remember that Scarlett has a young child. Thanks to all this intense training, Johansson's almost otherworldly in her athletic abilities as the Black Widow in her standalone movie. The actress actually did a lot of these incredible stunts herself. However, the heavy-hitting part of the job still belonged to Heidi, as it would have been too expensive to stop production if the actress had gotten injured. Johansson revealed that, for her, the gift of fitness has been one of the best parts about working for Marvel. "I'm stronger and more capable now than I was 10 years ago, which is so awesome to be able to say." Next, let's talk about the less enjoyable parts of being an MCU star. Testosterone Festival. A decade after her very first MCU movie she appeared in, Scarlett recalls that Iron Man 2 was really fun and had a lot of great moments in it. But at the same time, she felt relieved when more female characters finally began to join the Avengers.
It was like a major testosterone festival. I mean, it was like me and the dudes and the locker room banter. I mean, I'd had it.
The actress revealed that although at the time she didn't pay much attention to it, her character was definitely hypersexualized. Natasha Romanoff was treated almost like a piece of meat at first, and Tony Stark even referred to her as something like that at one point.
I want one.
No.
Johansson admitted that at the time, it actually felt like a compliment to her. "My thinking was different. Maybe my own self-worth was probably measured against that type of comment," explained the actress. However, that didn't make it easier to deal with that kind of public perception, especially from the press.
I just want to feel it. Ooh, oh, that's totally working. Wow, I love that. I touched Scarlett's boob.
For years, Johansson's had to fight back against misogynist comments and sexist interview questions. Unfortunately, they came constantly during the press tours she had to attend as a Marvel star. For example, during the UK press conference, a reporter asked Robert Downey Jr. about his character development, while Scarlett got questioned about her diet. Like a true professional, the actress did answer the question, but she lashed out against the media showing her less respect than her male counterparts.
Like, how come you get like the really interesting, like, existential question and I get the like rabbit food question?
And as if that wasn't enough, the next time she was asked even more inappropriate and intrusive questions, like if she had any undies underneath her skin-tight Black Widow suit.
What is going on? Since when did people start asking each other in interviews about their underwear?
Johansson had to cut the reporter off, still staying polite while doing so.
I'll leave it up to your imagination.
Oh, see?
Okay?
Is that...
Whatever you feel like I should be wearing or not wearing under that costume.
Most recently, Scarlett made a statement about why she refused to participate in conferences led by the Hollywood Foreign Press Association after facing their sexist questions and remarks that bordered on sexual harassment. That said, the interviews might also be tough for other reasons, like having to keep mum on the movie's plot. Spoiler stoppers are always near. Amazingly, Scarlett Johansson has spent the past 10 years with Marvel's team of press officers listening to her every conversation. It's no surprise that all the Avengers movies were completely shrouded in mystery before their official premieres. The reporters are warned that they will be ejected immediately for having iPhones with them while watching the trailers in the pre-premiere sessions. And the actors have to keep that huge secret for much, much longer.
We're just like biting our nails till this movie is released so that we don't have to keep the secret anymore.
Well, after being part of the franchise for so long, they've had practice in saying we're not allowed to talk about that. Still, sometimes it becomes really frustrating, especially when the reporters start asking about more personal stuff because they're not allowed to ask questions about the plot.
You know, it's hard when you're doing interviews because in the past you used to use the like content of the film to deflect personal questions. Now you're like, ask me whatever you want. Can't talk about the movie, so.
Just imagine how hard it is for the cast and crew of the much anticipated Black Widow movie to keep all the details to themselves. The film's premiere was postponed for a whole year because of the pandemic, and its lead constantly had to be extra careful to avoid giving any spoilers.
I can say that, okay, you know what, you get to, I can't!
She couldn't even tell her own husband anything, but that was for a different reason. It turns out Colin Jost doesn't like spoilers at all, and he really didn't want to hear a thing about Scarlett's upcoming flick. Of course he wants to know, how was your day, shared the actress. But as soon as it was like, can you read this scene with me? He was like, am I gonna get any spoilers? There's another situation that made Johansson's life as a Marvel star even more difficult: balancing work and motherhood. Johansson and Jost were not married when Black Widow was filming, although we could say that Colin has been in Scarlett's life for as long as Natasha Romanoff has. They first met on the Saturday Night Live set more than 10 years ago during one of Johansson's hosting stints. The couple started off as friends and for years stayed that way. You see, in 2014, Scarlett got married to a French journalist turned advertising exec Romain Doriec. She soon gave birth to their daughter, Rose, but the relationship eventually fell apart, and in 4 years, Johansson filed for divorce. The actress made a decision to keep her baby girl shielded from the curious media and tried to give her as normal a childhood as possible. But that doesn't stop her from talking about her own highs and lows as a mother. Scarlett shared that it's an incredible challenge maintaining a career while raising a small child. I have a lot of huge admiration for working mums, revealed Johansson. I'm barely holding it together. Just like many other women, she feels a little bit of guilt for missing out on those special moments with her kid. However, we can definitely call Scarlett a superhero mum. While she was expecting, she was filming Avengers Age of Ultron, but no changes were made to the script, and her stunts remained as dangerous as ever. I don't think you're allowed to ride a motorcycle when you're so pregnant, but I did, she recalled. Amazingly, Scarlett started training for her next movie right after giving birth, and that means she had, and still has, to start her nearly Olympic workouts at 6 in the morning, before Rose is awake. She explains that this is the only way she's able to maintain her goals. She has enough time to make dinner and do the bath and bedtime routine with her daughter before preparing her lines for the next day. It's hard to fit everything in when you're trying to balance motherhood, training, and work, reveals Johansson. That balance is a myth. However, we as fans think that Scarlett manages it quite successfully, and we are happy for her and Colin Jost. After 3 years of dating and always replying no comments to questions about the wedding, the couple got married in late 2020 in a secret ceremony. It seems like Scarlett Johansson has just started a totally new chapter in her life. After Black Widow. Sad but true. This latest Marvel movie will be Natasha Romanoff's last moment in the MCU. Saying goodbye is always hard to do, especially after playing the character for over a decade.
You know, it's bittersweet to say goodbye, but when you love something, you need to set it free.
So it's no wonder that Scarlett is ready to return to her Marvel family in some kind of way in the future. Apart from starring in Black Widow, she also executive produced this film, and she found it very exciting. And she recently announced her own beauty line, which is slated to launch sometime in early 2022. Scarlett is no stranger to the industry, as she's been the face of L'Oreal Paris makeup and hairlines for years. We're eager to get more news about Johansson's new endeavors, but right now, let's go watch the Black Widow movie. And if you've already watched it, check out our video about the Black Widow cast's real-life partners. Stay awesome.